I've always wanted to finish The Legend of Zelda, Ocarina of Time, but I could never find the Kokiri sword when playing on my dad's Wii. Because of this, I didn't play the game for about 2 years. When my 13th birthday finally came around, I asked my dad to get me the game for my 3DS. As soon as I discovered the Sheikah Stone and found the sword, I loved the game. I beat the game with 16 hearts, 3 bottles, and most of the gold skulltulas. I unlocked Master Quest and immediately started playing it. I got to the point where Zelda and Impa are escaping on a horse and Zelda throws me the Ocarina of Time. I didn't notice it then, but Ganondorf didn't ride by on his horse. I walked over to the water, dove down to get the ocarina, and got on the drawbridge. That's when it happened. Ganondorf ran by on his horse, taking the Ocarina of Time and the 3 spiritual stones from me. He sent a bolt of energy at me, sending me flying backwards. It showed Link lying there, clothes torn and his mouth dripping blood. I know Master Quest is a little different than the regular quest, but I knew that the only blood ever shown is Ganondorf's. The next scene was Ganon, I'll just call him that from now on, blasting Zelda's horse, turning it to bones. Ganon grabbed Zelda, killed Impa, and brought Zelda back over to me. She was crying her eyes out. Ganon held her by the throat, and said to both of us, "You will not thwart my plans again, children. I learned from my mistakes. The mirroring of this land has given me a second chance, and now I will destroy Hyrule." He tied a rope around Zelda's neck, and dragged her into Hyrule Town behind his horse, her screaming and leaving a trail of blood behind. I was finally able to control Link again, but it was stuck in first-person view and there was blood on the screen like in Call of Duty. I was able to walk slowly, so I tried to get away, but Navi just said, "We need to save the princess from that horrible man. We can't just leave her." I know by now I should have already taken the game out, melted it, and thrown the remains in a fire, but I went into Hyrule Town. As soon as I entered the place with the one guard, I looked over at where the guard should be. All that was left was a rotting corpse. I tried to go into the room, but text popped up saying, "There is the smell of death coming from the room. You probably shouldn't open it. Go in anyway." It gave me the options yes and no. I stupidly said yes. I walked in the room, and there were the rotting corpses of guards everywhere. I thought I could smell them, and then I realized something, I could smell them? I immediately left the room, and headed into the marketplace. Everyone was dead. The mob of people, the old lady, the late guy, even the couple that really need to get a room, at least now they can be together forever. I ran to the Temple of Time. I went inside, and I saw Zelda's body, decapitated, and burnt to a crisp. Link automatically ran over to her. Tears streaming across his face. He looked up and the doors of time were open. He ran in, and saw Ganon holding the Triforce, the whole thing. It should have been split up as soon as he touched it. Link ran up, but there was a force field around Ganon. "Foolish boy," he said, "now, nothing can stop me." He grabbed the Master Sword, ripped it from its pedestal, which should have been impossible, and shattered it. He turned toward me, and he pulled Navi to him. He held her, and then crushed her, blood and golden light spilling on the floor. I threw up. He then pulled Link towards him, and blasted his head off his body. The screen cut to saying, "Game over, Ganon destroyed Hyrule." It then showed the Kokiri forest burning. Everybody was dead. I realized that my 3DS was heating up. It then occurred to me to turn it off. I took the game out, but when I looked at it, the cover was gone. I just stared at it. When I put it back in, it said there was nothing in the slot. I immediately threw it away. A few days later, I went to play Majora's Mask on my Wii. I loaded it up, but when I went into my file, an error popped up saying, "Due to Ganondorf destroying Hyrule, and Link dying, the events of this game never happened. The game will be deleted from your system." I was brought back to the Wii menu. I went over to find Majora's Mask, but it was gone. I haven't played another Zelda game since. I tried to tell my friends about what happened, but they didn't believe me. I told my parents, but my dad said he never got me Ocarina of Time or Majora's Mask. I lay awake at night, wondering what had happened that day, why and more importantly, how this happened. I don't think I'll ever know. Hello everybody, I got so freaked out I thought I should tell you guys what happened. So I was listening to a creepypasta. I believe it was Ben drowned and I was thinking, man, that would really suck if something like that would actually happen. After I was done listening to it, my siblings asked me if I wanted to play Mario Party 7 for the GameCube. Mario Party is one of our favorite games. I said sure, wish I would have said not tonight however. So we start up Mario Party 7 and it was all fine until we went to the character select screen. There was a character that wasn't there before. It was Petey Piranha, which was odd because of my knowing I do not think he was even in the games yet. I told them let's restart the game because something is not right. It starts up again like normal but Petey Piranha was still there. I told them that we could not play it and to let me look into it first. They were a bit sad but I told them to play Mario Party 2 for the N64. I only have 3 controllers and there are 4 of us. So they took the N64 and started playing while I messed with the GameCube problem. I started up a new game and picked 1 player and 3 computers. If you can't guess, I picked Petey Piranha. I picked him because he was one of favorite characters of recent Mario games. So I have to select a map. There was Grand Canal, Pagoda Peak, Pyramid Park, Neon Heights, Windmillville, Bowser's Enchanted Inferno, and a map called Petey's World. So I thought, oh no. Now I know my game isn't modded because I have had that game since I was little. I pulled the courage to pick Petey's World. It started up and the logo for Petey's World came up and faded quickly. The logo was a negative and looked just terrifying. It had all of the characters of the game on the ground with Petey on top of them. They looked dead to me. Petey had what looked like Toad's head sticking out of his mouth. However, since it was negative I could not tell if there was blood or not, but to my knowing there was none. At this point I am at the roll the dice to see who goes first part of the game. I click the A button to jump and Petey hits the block and I roll a 666. I was in a complete and utter shock. I went to turn off the game when I heard an evil laugh that was so terrifying I started to shake. The T.V turned itself up even louder than it was, but there was no laughter now. So I get my remote to turn my T.V down, but it only let me turn it down about 1%. At this point the only thing I could do is play this demonic version of Mario Party 7. The sound made me get very sad and I started to get tears in my eyes. Mario landed on the space with Petey's face and Mario fell through the space. Just 2 more left to go, Petey, a demonic voice said cheerfully. Peach was next but she just falls to the floor screaming Mario. And Petey tells her to hush and then violently attacks her. My T.V turns off and then back on. Peach was gone and I was wondering where Peach went. The final character, which is Yoshi, just disappears. Petey is now just laughing. It sounded like the laughter I heard earlier. The demonic voice then said, "Good job, Petey. Now that those 3 are gone you can now get rid of the last person, you know who it is." The demonic voice's figure slowly appears on screen. It was a black demon. He pointed at me. Then my T.V and GameCube turned off. I turned on my T.V, which was back to normal at this point. My GameCube was smoking, so I cooled it off and tried turning it back on, but it would not work. I opened the GameCube game tray and the disc art was changed to the demonic black demon I saw on the screen. I took the GameCube game and all and threw it away. So that is why I am so afraid. P.S. When I am alone I still see that black demonic figure around me and I hear that laughter time to time. Before Slendy was around, when he was a child he played Pokemon a lot and he loved it until he found Lavender Town. It just gave him chills and scared him and he found it depressing, so when he grew up into Slendy he thought, I will take down this depressing town because it haunted him because he saw a Pokemon die there. So when he was older, Slendy, he got his old Game Boy and took the cord and jammed it into his face, pulling him into the game. So he thought the only way to end this terrible place is to kill everyone that enters, even Pokemon. So whenever someone got there they were being stalked in game, so when he got close enough he attacked, ripping them to pieces, all but the trainer, leaving him there in horror, and he tore them apart limb by limb. so after years after see that the trainer went to their grave and said he was sorry and that he should have never brung them there. Later that night Slenderman emerged from the game and killed the boy who was that trainer, so he had no witnesses and continued on stalking kids and killing them. Firstly, something is wrong. All my games are gone but one. Only one. The only one that my friend created. Okay, think me, I thought. I had never been broken into and I was flipping out. Then I found out that I was tired and bored. The only game I had was a edited and renewed version of Super Metroid that was compatible with the Xbox, not 360, just Xbox. My friend is weird to just flat out weird because he always had that aroma that he was gonna do something unexpected and fatal. His name was Gregory. I've called him to come over and play the game with me. He gleefully said, sure, when? Tomorrow at 3:00. I replied. When he came over he brought his own controller to play. I turned on the Xbox and slid it in. That went to the title screen. It was regular, but I noticed he added a second player mode. That's why he brought the controller, I thought. We started the first level and it was very different from the regular version because it was the end of the regular game, but then it started what I thought it was an epilogue. Cool, I thought this wasn't gonna be badass, bro, I told Greg. Thanks, it took 3 years to finish this beauty, and it was a beauty with a lot better graphics, more guns to start with, remember, end of the game, and to top it all of a longer game. It was like a DLC of Super Metroid had a baby with Skyrim with all the DLCs combined. We played a first hour and it was way different from SM Experience because it had a new race of aliens and you fight infected humans that have the brainpower to hold a damn gun. Then something caught my eye. When you walk near one you get to see dog tags. These dog tags were blood covered from me shooting the owner, but when you look into them they had the names of famous murders and terrorists. My friend didn't give a single flying fuck about my side of the screen, he was just going trigger happy with the new grapple exploder gun. Also to add, he made a new search thing when you kill a boss, but all I got was a letter, first one R. Next one E, then D, R, U, M, then I got an letter was just said space I S space, T, A, S, T, Y. There was a collection screen for all the letters, that's why I know this. My friend Greg, I thought in my own humor, was Osama bin Laden with his mouth open yelling lol. I thought. I went to the collectoon screen and saw that was more spaces to fill. Bro, why does it say red rum is tasty? Don't ask questions, he said demonically like he was a fallen angel angered and filled with wrath. Firstly, something is wrong, I thought. Secondly, what is happening? Thirdly, why is every so angry in this game and my only life? My friend turned and said what I think is baka, which means idiot or stupid in Japanese. We got to the end of the game, every boss defeated, but the only one is left, the final boss. He is huge, strong and fast and defies physics in the land of 2D, but we beat him. I searched him and the letter was Gregory. I shocked, and then he turned around and said, I'm a direct descendant to both Hitler and the real Dracula, but am better than both. Die. He pulled out a blade. Bad idea, I thought, because I always have my handy revolver. I shot him till he had said baka, then dropped the giant blade and died. I contacted the authorities and said, nice game bro, but firstly red rum is nasty without a wine glass. Herobrine, the real story. In 2009. I found a game named Minecraft. I was about to make a game just like this. I download it and play it. About a year later, Marcus Person made an update to where you can do cheats. My friend Marcus Person gave me an email that said, Tom, you can't make another game just like this because it's the most played game on Java. You and I can go to a Minecraft party, okay Tom? Later that day. I want to go to the Minecraft party, but I have to go to my job. I went to my job, but it was closed. So I went to the Minecraft party. Marcus said, why are you in this party? Because my job is closed. That's fine, it's fine, okay. What, said Tom? My manor opened the door and he was very angry. He headbutted me and kicked me in the head. I fell down on a cold grass. Fire was all in my face. 5 days later. My friend, tell me, are you okay? I said yes. Later that day I went to my computer and logged into my Minecraft profile. I changed my skin to a Steve but with white eyes. The E&D, Herobrine the real story. In 2009, I found a game named Minecraft. I was about to make a game just like this. I download it and play it. About a year later, Marcus Person made an update to where you can do cheats. My friend Marcus Person gave me an email that said, "Tom, you can't make another game just like this because it's the most played game on Java. You and I can go to a Minecraft party, okay Tom?" Later that day, I want to go to the Minecraft party but I have to go to my job. I went to my job but it was closed. So I went to the Minecraft party. Marcus said, "Why are you in this party?" "Because my job is closed." "That's fine, it's fine, okay." "What?" said Tom. My manor opened the door and he was very angry. He headbutted me and kicked me in the head. I fell down on a cold grass. Fire was all in my face. 5 days later. My friend tell me, "Are you okay?" I said yes. Later that day I went to my computer and logged into my Minecraft profile. I changed my skin to a Steve but with white eyes. The end. Read this before reading pasta. I know this may sound fake but it's real, unlike most pastas, and this is my first pasta, so enjoy. Day 1. It started off as a normal day. I went on my computer, opened Roblox, and my friend found this new game called Smile Me, and my friend joined it. Everything was black, only us two in the server. There was red arrows on the wall and we followed them, which then lead to ghosts praying to something. There was a white door next to them. We walked into it. There was a smile face which looked at us. There also was a person dead next to it, and both of our game crashed. And being the crazy people we are, we joined again. The game was all normal, but expect this time the owner was on. My friend asked, "Why are you doing this?" And the owner replied, "You don't need to know, just follow to find out." So me and my friend followed him and he led us back into the room with the creepy smile head, but this time we respawned back to the spawn of the game. The owner got kicked. And guest 0/the forgotten guest joined our game. We was scared. We tried to left, but it just put us back in this game. Guest 0 said, "Why did you listen?" We said, "I don't know." And then creepy music started playing. Guest 0 played videos of our flashbacks and games of us dying. Me and my friend tried to leave again but no hope. But then Guest 0 left and we was still stuck. We even tried restarting our computers. In the end I messaged Roblox on my phone with Gmail. They joined and tried to save us, and they got trapped. We had to create new accounts. They are always in that game even when we are not on our accounts. Day 2. The next day we tried again with our hacked accounts, but this time it worked. We had our accounts back and no sign our Guest 0 ever since, but the game is still up. Notice how Rayman has no actual arms or legs. The only thing visible with Rayman's movements would be his only arms and only foot and head that only moved. I found that scary when I was younger. I have had this thought for nearly a year now, and it's creeped me out ever since. A few months ago, I went to a garage sale I found while strolling through the park. I love garage sales, you always get the best bargains, so I would never miss them. I walked into the garage sale and first thing in sight was nearly everything from toys to furniture. I happened to see a Wii version of the game Rayman Raving Rabbids, noticing it from the front cover. Although when I saw the front cover, it looked different from when I remembered. The actual name was Rayman Rabbids, almost if the game was leaked. Also the classification was rated MA+15, which I thought was odd at the time as the game was a kid's game if I'm right. The game's case was busted although the CD looked perfectly fine. I asked the man behind the counter how much the game was. His face turned white like snow and said to me that I could have it. I felt the urge to ask why the front cover looked different. He told me that it was a leaked version of the game and only a few exist. I asked how he found the game. He told me that he found it outside of Ubisoft's headquarters near the trash can. I was so excited to play, I was just so hungry for nostalgia, and now I've got the game. Although I was a little scared to be honest. I opened up the busted CD case, and inserted the disc into my Wii disc slot. The game loaded up and the title screen appeared. Looking at the game's title screen, it seemed fairly normal. it was just Rayman doing all types of dances. Although there was something that seemed off about Rayman, his arms, legs and neck was visible. I guessed that it was a glitch and ignored it. I pressed play and made a new save game. The game opened with Rayman sitting in a forest with some frogs. The frogs got pulled from the ground by the rabbits and popped from the ground up. Now rabbits are bunny-looking creatures that are really crazy. Personally, I never understood them, and if I can remember, they formerly obeyed a big black rabbit named Commander Sergei. The rabbits stared at Rayman for a good 30 seconds, and for a split second, a blood drop came from the rabbit's mouth, which was very odd, I thought. The rabbits let out a huge scream as if they were being tortured, which I thought sounded very odd, and the huge Commander Sergei came into the scene, kidnapping Rayman. Rayman ended up into his customizable prison cell and was forced to do tests. I chose Rayman to walk outside his cell. I was escorted by the rabbits outside. The first thing I see on my screen is rabbits raging and screaming in the audience. I even saw a rabbit with a pitchfork, even some of them were vomiting blood of how angry they were. I got scared, but curiosity took over me, and I wanted to play more. I walked into one of the tests. It was usual as expected. There was one game called, if I can remember, Rabbids Get No Presents, where you had to run with a present that is about to explode and give it to another rabbit so they can blow up. It was funny, although what creeped me out was that Rayman had his arms, neck and legs visible. It's gotta be a glitch, I guessed. I paused the game and searched up on Google photos of Rayman, and all of them came up as the usual Rayman with no legs, arms and neck. It's gotta be a glitch, I kept telling myself. After every few tests you finish, you get a plunger, and Rayman uses those plungers to stack up out of the window in his customizable prison cell to escape. I had a few at that time. As I finished more and more tests, I happened to find a test named Bunnies Don't Use Toothpaste. It was a game where I had to pull out worms from the rabbit's teeth. As I was pulling out worms from the rabbit's teeth, I happened to see for a split second a female Rayman replace the rabbit while hearing a cry. I saw this and let out a huge "what the fuck." I got sick of these glitches, so I stopped playing for a while. I walked up to my local McDonald's to get something to eat. I just couldn't stop thinking about the female Rayman glitch. What kind of developers would do this? I got a cheeseburger meal, walked back home and ate it. I turned back on my Wii console and got straight back into the game. Before my eyes, the game glitched to the scene where Rayman stacked up all his plungers trying to escape. Rayman escaped with happiness and joy, the wind was rustling on him. He was just so happy, happier than I actually thought he'd be. After 5 minutes of Rayman running in the woods, a jump scare of Commander Sergei came to my screen with a high-pitched sound, causing my glass of water on my table to break. The game froze into a black screen for a minute, then I saw Rayman sitting on a concrete bed, tied up to it. Rayman looked around, seeing all other types of Raymans. From baby Raymans to teenage Raymans, and they all had their arms, legs and neck. Sounds of crying, moaning, grieving came out of the Raymans. Some were even being suffocated, tortured by the rabbits. I was shaking as hell, I was gonna gag. The blood coming out of the Raymans were more than photorealistic, it looked real, as if the developers got a real torture tape and used the sounds and video techniques for it. Rabbits were escorting Raymans to this white room, and I saw a glimpse of a saw with photorealistic blood on it. Raymans were screaming for their loved ones, screaming out, "No, my baby, no." First time hearing the Raymans speak. Raymans were walking out with no arms, legs and neck. Some unlucky Raymans also were stuffed into rabbits. Every rabbit you kill is another Rayman you kill. I was the last Rayman to walk into the white room in game while being escorted by a rabbit. Commander Sergei instantly put my 2 arms under the saw. Commander Sergei turned the saw on while my Rayman screaming out, "No, please, no, I am begging you." I felt so dizzy, I puked all over my carpet as Commander Sergei was amputating my Rayman's arms, legs and neck. The blood coming out of my Rayman seemed real as it splashed all over the ground. After my arms, legs and neck being amputated, Commander Sergei threw them into a box filled with other limbs and parts of a Rayman's body. My Rayman walked out with no legs, arms and neck. The game faded into a black screen, then returned to its title screen. I was absolutely scared, I felt sick and I puked a few times. You know that new game called Rayman's Origins, that's just a cover-up for this game. They knew the mistakes they made. They knew that people played this game. Rayman's Origins is just a fake origin. The game that I played was the real origin of Rayman. There were other Raymans before, but they had to be killed by Commander Sergei for some unknown reason. I wish I knew. Today, I went to Ubisoft's exhibition instantly seeing the lead developer of Rayman, Michel Ancel next to a Rayman figure. I walked up to him slowly and asked about the game Rayman Rabbids. His face turned white instantly when I asked him and told me not to say this to anyone. I agreed. He told me this. Before I worked on my own on Rayman Rabbids, I worked with a man named John Sergey. He was Russian, of course. He was creepy at times and always talked about killing, blood, and how he was always right. I played the game that you played. That was made by John Sergey. Those scenes you saw were made by him. All I did was create what would be in the original game Rayman Raving Rabbids. John released and edited the game earlier than its release date. Before I confronted him, I played the game and saw the horrible scenes and the glitches that he purposely put into the game. I asked him why he did this. He told me that those scenes he purposely put into the game were representations of him in the army when he was there. Commander Sergei was a representation of John. This is what he did to thousands of innocent people, he said. I had to add an adjective to my new game, as we would lose a lot of money if we didn't make our original game. Michel took a deep breath and told me these words that scared me. When my boss found out about this, he instantly fired John Sergey. My boss told me to get the remaining copies of the game that remained in the HQ, to burn them in the trash, as if we kept it would corrupt our company. And that was the last time I saw my boss. Death Kirby. Well, I am a huge Kirby fan. On my email I received a new Kirby game. Only wait, what? Not was boring. I downloaded later. The file is called Kirby. That name is strange. The game had relation to that strange Mario World hack, Mario. Later I play the Kirby game and the intro is Kirby Superstar Ultra intro with Kirby and the amazing mirror sprites. The words say Death Kirby, WTF, that name is too creepy. The game start, no music, and then a waddle dee say run Kirby, he comes, too creepy. That words. I tried close the game but then said you don't escape of that. Later they two appear. Fumu and Bun WTH are doing characters of anime in that game. They two don't talk much to me, only say Kirby hurry run. Later appears Blood and Fumu and Bun scream. Later go to see them and they death. Then start to play the creepy world of nothing of Super Paper Mario. A Kirby of red eyes, purple hands, and blood in his mouth appears. Totally I tried escape of the game then say I leave you live a few days. Then the Death Kirby kill Kirby Meta Knight DDD Bandana D Drashia and all the Popstar people, but the strange was Drashia sprites. They also Jijinka because my theory of Zero controls Drashia. I play Toho and Mother 3 and said words of Death Kirby. Later I play my Mugen and challenge Death Kirby char. My character was Flandra and I beat so hard. Never download games with strange names on his emails or evil spritz like Sonic. EXE Ghost Gigas Ben Death Kirby Uboa Creepypasta Hina Zalgo Pinkie Pie ECT may kill you. Peck's betrayal. Peck sneaked into the Phantom base. Hey guys, got the gems? The Phantom King nodded and handed her 100,000 gems. Thanks. I'll paint you all the AJ plans. Suddenly, all the alphas broke the door down. We are the alphas and we are here to defeat Peck. Peck looked behind her in shock. Huh? Oh my gosh. You betrayed us. You will pay and die. All the alphas said. Peck tried to sound unknowing and said what I didn't do anything. All the alphas said, well then why did you just draw all our freaking plans in front of the Phantom King? Peck didn't respond, and the alphas tackled her and took her to a dark room. The execution. Peck was tied to a chair. She couldn't move, she couldn't see well, but saw a shadow figured, it looked like Greely, and another figured that kinda looked like a tiger. Greely spoke, Peck, I never liked you. I know one day you would do this and Eve been waiting to have fun like this. The tiger also spoke, me too. Peck realized what was happening and began to cry. What? No, please don't kill me, she cried and screamed. No. Liza came in a large button that was hooked up to the chair. Liza. Oh my gosh, please help me. I trust you. Liza spoke with a large angry voice. You betrayed us. I could never trust you again. Liza looked mad and scared at Peck, and handed the button to Greely, and Greely spoke saying bye-bye. He smirked and pressed the button. Suddenly Peck couldn't feel her body and she was fully stuck. She felt as if she were going to break apart. Suddenly, she exploded by being electrocuted very hardly, and her body parts were everywhere. Blood was everywhere in the room. Sir Gerbert spoke. Oh my gosh, we really just did this. Sir Gerbert cried because he secretly loved Peck. He grabbed a left leg and ran out. Liza was left to clean up and dispose. She cried knowing her best friend was gone. She knew she would never see her again. Hey, my name is Christopher Williams. I am big fan of Rouge the Bat Eye and I about to made Rouge call her. Dark Rouge exe made by Gmod. I find a prefset picture to creed I got scare of her right now in way she eat people. In shock people blood out she was white and Gary old picture and her sister is White Rouge. She a powerful lady she hurt people I kill to her line is, I am Dark Rouge and I go take your heart out and White one, I am White Rouge I will suck your soul out she found. Knuckles and Knuckles turn head and she got a creepy smile her face and her sister too. Then he about our powerful of Tor darkness I think I made her in Gmod in my computer. Start bring picture of Rouge exe the one is SMY Rose head got cut off by Dark Rouge. And two is Amy Rose was walking with Sally Akron and they saw Dark Rouge and White Rouge they were start walking to them Amy and Sally run and screaming loud they stop. Running they saw Sonic exe and I said. Sonic what he doing there and he said to them. You're too slow and you cannot escape from them in Dark Rouge and White Rouge. Attacking them and eat them too in Sonic laughing I said, go by Amy and Sally start. Laughing again so me I got so race how they kill Amy and Sally that are good people. I said. YYWHHHHHHHHHY start crying I tore off my computer I see a dark and white outside my windows and then he start a creepy smiley and bleed teeth and bloody pick black I one Dark Rouge eye is pitch black and red they bout disappearing and I don't believe it I never star making horror stuff no more I start dreaming about them me dream is dark black and I was in there with Sonic and two sister and they said, we are God now and we are going to eat you in creepy Ben drowned behind me I said. Ben what you doing here they all eat me I woke up I tore saw Dark Rouge in my bed never see her. In her sister again.